Hello, loves. Happy mid-February, mid to end of February. Can we believe it? The time is truly flying. We have passed midwinter and we are well on our way to spring. How are you guys feeling? I am really excited in this liminal space. I feel like the liminal spaces are truly some of the most magical that exist because they're so ripe with potential and they want seeds to be planted in them. And I think in our modern culture, we've been programmed to hate winter, a feeling of we're not moving somewhere. If you're not constantly moving and going and rushing after a goal, then you're failing or you're behind somehow. But our ancestors lived in tune with the seasons, and the feminine lived in such a cyclical way of life that has largely been lost in today's modern hustle and bustle and grind. But we can truly reclaim this in our own lives. And I have been doing this through ritualizing my days. And in this sort of mythic, what felt like a detour, but I know that our detours are actually just, a necessary part of our main path and quest that I've taken from Los Angeles to here in upstate New York for the winter. It's allowed me to reattune to this and to be in the stillness. And I'm looking out the window, the trees are all barren, there's snow on the ground still. Some of us may perceive this as death or darkness or a feeling of depression, but nature is renewing itself and is resting, and we need this as well. So I just wanted to make this and tell you guys that taking a step out of your routine, of your daily hustle, of the way you've always done things, may just be that medicine that your soul needed in order to get to where you want to go. That was what was happening for me. Is I felt like all of last year, all of 2025, and maybe even a little bit before that, I felt like I was hitting a lot of brick walls. No matter how much I was trying, and no matter how much more strategy I implemented and more mentors I followed and all of these different things, nothing was really taking off. And also on that same vein, I was like, all right, well, it must be me. It must be my inner worlds. I must have limiting beliefs and blockages and all of these things. So you best believe I delved into all of the inner work, the EFT tapping, meditation, visualization, scripting, manifestation techniques, and still nothing was transpiring. And I was like, man, am I on the wrong path? Am I, following the wrong way? It seems like I'm not having the success that I feel like I should. There are two parts of this. One is, now looking back on it, I needed that time and to not be incredibly successful as a traditional coach, manifestation coach, life coach, because that was not meant to be my true path, but it was a necessary bridge that I had to be on to learn certain skill sets and to evolve and to become a leader, to find my voice and confidence in leading programs, to test things, to play, all of that. So it was the bridge, but not the final destination. And then part two of that was, I was in my apartment that I had lived in for 8 years, and I loved this apartment. Still love it, but it's no longer mine. But I loved it. It was so cute in Hollywood, in the cutest building, a great size for a studio, and just like a magical little retreat. And my neighbors were my best friends. Really nothing was wrong, right? But this overwhelming feeling of stagnancy had fallen over my life, even though I was trying all the things to drive it forward. And I just got the message from my higher self, my guides, that you're not going to reach your next level in this same environment. And I had tried everything else, but the environment piece I had not thought of. I was like, how could I give up this apartment? It's rent controlled. It's, all the things I just said. So I never considered leaving that apartment until that moment. Actually, it had kind of seeded when I got back from France, but I had ignored it. Anyways, that moment, I could no longer ignore. And I knew in my heart, it was like a decision that my soul made that I could not go back on. That was like, you're done here. You need to move out of this apartment. You need to go to live with your dad in upstate New York for winter and allow yourself to rest, to allow the next iteration of your business and self to emerge naturally and to heal your nervous system. Because I was living also in such a feeling of fight or flight, survival. Like everything was like do or die. Everything was like, I need this to work. I need to make money. I need all these things, right? So it was a tough year. Anyways, I had not had such a feeling like that in a long time, in maybe years, that was so distinct. And I was like, okay, I guess we're doing this. I wanted to reclaim my art. I wanted to do the things that I loved and not feel so much pressure of like having to convert and having to be successful. I knew that I could not create what I truly was here to create in that environment. Having this space has been such a blessing. I have always wanted to be the living embodiment of everything that I stand for, living life as the hero, heroine, main character of your own myth, tale, legend, fantasy story, however you want to look at it. And in doing that, it requires some scary moves. It requires steps into the unknown again and again and again. And this path is not for the faint of heart. This is for the courageous of us. This is for those of us who are here to make a huge impact in the world. This is you. This is for you who has a dream on your heart that scares you. You can't stop thinking about that only you can bring to life. To live an extraordinary life, you have to make extraordinary moves. If you're being called to that, trust that even though it's scary and it might require a sacrifice from you, like I had to sacrifice my old life for the life that I'm meant to be living. And I was willing to make that sacrifice because this mission is so much bigger than me. And I know that if I play small, I cannot impact the world and the people who are meant to walk this path with me. So it's bigger than me, right? And that helps dissolve my fears. There's nothing to fear, only things to gain, truly. And in anything that you're potentially or see as losing, it's really just a transmutation into something better. When you start to attune yourself to your intuition, to your higher self, to your intuitive hits, and to the seasons of life, and whether that's the season of literally winter or spring, or your personal season of growth or of retreat or of movement or of quietness, everything just becomes easy. And it's like, what was I ever so worried about? And why was I trying to force things so much when it all was already working out? I just had to listen and then move, take action on that listening. And I think that that's what the year of the fire horse is really teaching us, to go for it. And last year was the carving, right? I keep saying it was the wood snake. It was like a methodical carving. Now we're meant to put our carving into the kiln and fire it. Let's go. I hope this inspired you. Don't be afraid to take the leap. And also, one last message. Don't let anyone else's opinion or your perceived opinion of what people might think of what you're doing stop you. Had I let that stop me, I wouldn't have been able to birth this next incredible iteration of my business and this offering that has come through that is going to be life-changing. This is your life, this is your quest, and only you can live it to its most extraordinary level. And at the end of the day, when you do choose your most authentic expression, it actually has such a ripple effect into the world that inspires other people to live fully as themselves as well.